All right, cadets, let's talk about one of the most fundamental skills in engineering, soldering. The goal is to create a strong electrical and mechanical connection. On the right, you see a perfect example of a good joint. Notice how the solder forms a shiny, smooth, cone-shaped fillet that covers the pad and climbs slightly up the component lead. This is what we're aiming for every time. The process is simple if you follow the key steps. First, you'll heat both the pad on the board and the component lead at the same time with the tip of your iron. Once they're hot, you'll apply the solder to the joint itself, not to the iron. You'll see it flow and form that perfect cone. Then you hold everything still for a second until it solidifies. Now, let's look at what to avoid. The middle diagram shows a cold joint. It looks dull, gray, and lumpy. This happens when you don't heat the pad and lead properly, and it results in a very unreliable connection that will likely fail. If your joint looks like this, you need to reflow it. The final example is a solder bridge. This is when solder accidentally connects two adjacent pads, creating a short circuit. This is a critical failure that must be fixed with a solder wick before you ever apply power to your board. We'll practice identifying and fixing these in the lab.
All right, cadets, this is a crucial step. Disciplined assembly and the first power on. The process is straightforward if you follow the order precisely. This method makes soldering easier and helps prevent mistakes. First, we install the lowest profile components. These are your resistors, small diodes, and any IC sockets. They sit closest to the board. Next, the medium height parts, like ceramic capacitors and low-profile headers. Then the tall parts, electrolytic capacitors, switches, jacks, and potentiometers. We always save the tallest for last so they don't get in your way while you work. Finally, you'll add the knobs, standoffs, and other mechanical hardware. Now, before you connect a battery, we run through this pre-power checklist. This is non-negotiable. You will confirm your power supply voltage and polarity are correct. You'll use your multimeter to verify a continuous ground network and check for shorts between your power and round rails. Make sure your switches are functioning as expected. The most important step is the teacher sign-off. I will personally inspect your board for any potential issues before giving you the go-ahead to apply power. This is a critical safety check. Only after my sign-off will you perform the power-on test. If everything is correct, your circuit will be operational. If not, we'll begin debugging. Let's get started.
Now that we've covered the assembly and testing process, let's discuss how your work will be assessed and what the expected outcomes are. This slide outlines the key dimensions of a strong project. We'll evaluate your technical correctness, ensuring your schematics are sound and design rules followed. Layout quality is crucial. We look for clean, direct, and manufacturable routing that respects physical constraints. Documentation is vital. Your reference designators, polarity, and labels must be clear enough for anyone to build from your exported plots. We'll also assess assembly functionality, checking that parts are correctly oriented, solder joints are acceptable, and the board behaves as designed. Finally, your professional workflow is key, including the use of ERC/DRC, 3D inspection, peer review, and reflection. On the right, you'll see the deliverables that demonstrate these dimensions. Your KiCad files, the schematic, a 2D/3D board plot, a working status panel, Gerber files for manufacturing, and your test notes with reflections. These artifacts collectively represent your completed project and will be the basis for your assessment.
As we near the completion of our PCB course, let's take a moment to reflect on the key engineering concepts we've covered and the valuable outcomes you've achieved. This slide highlights what makes your work truly portfolio-worthy for the Starfleet Engineering Academy. On the left, you'll see the core deliverables, a custom PCB design backed by a clear explanation of its functionality. You've gained hands-on experience with KiCad, learning to review files and generate manufacturing outputs. Crucially, you've practiced essential skills like soldering, multimeter checks, and debugging, which are vital for any engineer. All of this contributes to a better mental model of how an electronic idea progresses from concept to a finished product. On the right, we break down the specific concepts and where you've applied them, from understanding clocked outputs and logic and shift registers
to making design choices for current limiting with LEDs, and designing user-friendly human interfaces with proper labels and polarity marks. You've mastered PCB layout, including placement, routing, edge cuts, and ground areas. And finally, you've honed your debugging skills using ERC, DRC, peer review, and multimeter checks. These are the practical applications of the engineering concepts we've explored throughout this course.
So, to wrap up, what are the key outcomes of this course? What will you walk away with? First and foremost, you'll have a portfolio-worthy project, your very own custom-designed printed circuit board, and you'll be able to explain exactly how it works. You'll also gain practical experience with industry-standard tools like KiCad, learning how to prepare files for manufacturing. This isn't just theory. You'll get hands-on practice with soldering, using a multimeter, and debugging real-world electronics problems. Ultimately, this course will give you a much clearer mental model of the entire process, how an electronic device goes from a simple idea to a physical product in your hands. These are the skills that will give you a significant head start in your engineering journey.